Alright, welcome to Elias Academy, and this is kind of like an introductory video about the various rules of reflection and rotation, and some strategies for, I hate the word memorizing, but for recalling them. There's kind of tricks to do this. Um, the first one I'm going to start off with is, because we started with the conceptual meaning of reflection and rotation, to derive the rule, you can simply plot a point. Okay, let's pretend this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, comma, let's bring it down a little bit, 3, okay, let's make that 4, that's 5, comma, 4. You can visually do the reflection and then examine the coordinates and then interpret, extrapolate the rule. So if I'm reflecting across the x-axis, oops, sorry about that there, I'm going, down to the x-axis. I'm going down 4, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. Then I got to go down 4 again. 1, 2, 3, 4. And you can see that my x, my horizontal, stays the same, but my vertical is what changes. Okay, so you can do that with each of these problems. I think it would be a little time consuming for me to do that. I'm more than happy to show you independently. So if you want me to show you, you know what, I encourage you, for each of these rules, see why you're doing what you're doing. When you do it to one point, you'll see that, just like with this one, when you reflect over the x-axis, there is no horizontal shift. There's no left or right shift. It's only a shift in the vertical. All right. So it makes sense that to do a reflection in the x-axis, and here's where I'm going to begin telling you the tricks to remember them. Look at your mirror. It's a reflection in the x-axis. That means you're going to keep its namesake, keep x, and then negate the y, all right? You're going to keep x, negate y, keep x, negate y. When we do it in the y-axis, you're going to keep the namesake. You'll keep the y, but you're going to negate the x, okay? Throughout some of the videos, whether you've watched them first or last, I've referred to that these lines that you're reflecting over, they tell you exactly what to do. If you look at the normal flow of a point, it goes x, then y. This line here is telling you, hey, look, the y is going to come first, then the x. It's telling you, look, switch them. Put your y first, then your x. Don't do anything to their signs. Just switch them. So it's y, comma, x. Now, this one down here is the same thing as the one above, except there's this negative tossed in. And the only hard part to remember is you're negating both. Okay? Yeah, you're switching. Okay? You're switching them, but you're negating both. All right? Because it's saying, what should your y be? Well, it should look exactly like the x, but negative. Okay? Your y should look exactly like the x, but it should be negative, and that y is going to come first. So you can pause this and re-listen to how I explain my memory trick for the rules until you get the rules of reflection. You should pause it and then look away and be able to recite these rules to yourself. Now we're going to move on to rotation, those capital R's. And I only remember two. There's only two that I remember. I remember a rotation of 90 and 180 degrees. 180 is real easy to remember because everybody can do an about face, like turn 180 degrees. And when you do that, you are, if I'm facing north, when you do a 180, whether it's counterclockwise or clockwise, whether it's positive or a negative rotation, the result, the image, is that you're now facing the opposite, oh wow, I can't spell, the opposite direction, okay? If you were facing north, now you're facing south. And in math, opposite means negate. All right, so the conceptual understanding of a 180 rotation is you're gonna negate, okay? So you just negate. That one's how I remember it. And a rotation of 180 is the same as a negative, because it doesn't matter which way you turn, you're still going to be the opposite. You're still going to be facing the opposite direction. Okay. Um, I only remember the rotation of 90 degrees because when I go to do the rotation of 270, I just know it's the other one. And what I remember is it's negate y, and then you're switching. Okay, I just memorized that. So you negate your y, you take your y, you negate it, and then you switch, right? And that's why the negative y is in the front now. And for the 270, it's the same thing, except we're not doing it to the y, we're doing it to the x. So those, for me, kind of go hand in hand. When I try and write down the rule for 270, in my head I see the rule for 90, and then I just go, oh, okay, but 270 is, I negate my x, I don't negate the y, I negate my x, and then I switch. If you want another way to remember them, you could just take a point, all right, and plot it, and then say, well, positive 90, okay, positive 90 is going counterclockwise, and you can kind of rotate. So if you put it on the axis and it's at like 6 comma 0, you can see it's going to get shifted up here. All right, so it has 0 in the x movement, but now up here it's got that 6. So there's the switching aspect. And if you were to move it up a little bit, get something like 6 comma 1, you would see that it'd be over here, and that y term has got to be negated a bit. And that's kind of what's going on there. I'm sorry, here with the 90. Once again, I think the rules are the best way to remember it. You can play around if you have spare time. Play around with a few points and rotating them. Okay? If you have any questions, please stop by and ask me. Thank you, guys.